Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm on the West Coast in California, so it's definitely morning for us, and I'm super excited to be here with you all to talk about transitions in life and just different things that we're navigating right now. So hopefully, let's see, clicking here. So hopefully we're all in the right place, and this is going to be pretty interactive based on how you're feeling, and I definitely want to hear all your questions, so I'll leave some time at the end. So definitely put those in the chat space so that we, can capture all of them and hopefully get you through and answer the questions. A couple of things, every time I do a presentation in person, online, whatever the case may be, I always want people to have some type of takeaway from it, something creative that they can look at, something they can go back to carry the conversation forward, or something they can just build into their daily lives. So if you are someone who has creativity tools close on hand, feel free to grab them anytime during the presentation, just so that you can start working on your transitional inspiration. And if not, you can always come back to it. And so one of the things I always like to ask people who think they're not so creative or they're not so crafty, or people who are crafty and do all those things, what are some of the trends that you see right now? And I know a lot of us have been dealing with the quarantine and sheltering in place and things like that. So a lot of people have been developing different interests and playing around with different things. So I just think it's really fun to see what people are into. So I don't know if you had a chance to look at the quiz, but one of the things that we're seeing a big trend in, specifically for adults, and that's typically ages 19 and up, is really around going back to what you call some of the old age crafts: stained glass, pottery, soap making, embroidery. It's all making a huge comeback in 2020. And part of that is because people are at home and it's easy to get those materials, and you don't really have to be great at it to get going. So some of the things I want to emphasize today is, as we transition, you don't have to be great at everything that is going on right now. You just have to show up for yourself. You just have to create in the space that you have, and then take care of yourself as far as your wellness.
We just posted the poll, so if everybody wants to just vote, we can close the poll and see
Yeah.
where everyone went. I'll close it in 10 more seconds.
Yeah, one of the things I want to try is soap making. My younger sister is really into it, so she's going to teach me via Zoom. She lives in Iowa, so that's something that we're making time for, and we're going to involve our kids, so that would be super exciting for us.
All right, so
Yeah.
let's share the results.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Okay, yep. You all get it. All of the above. People are just really going back to old school things, which I think is super fun. Oh, daughter's making bath bombs. I love it. I love it. I love things like that. So a little bit about me before we get going into the presentation is I'm an educator by training. I started my career as a high school teacher and moved into administration, focused primarily on teacher development and curricular design. So I like to have a creative space to build things wherever you are. Start where you are and build them up. I'm originally from Wisconsin, go Packers. And I'm a huge crafter. Yes, I love glitter too. When people say, oh, glitter, I'm like, what do you mean? Glitter is so happy. Big glitter, fine glitter, whatever the glitter is. I love sparkly things. I'm obsessed with washi tape. So hopefully if you don't have washi tape in your life as of today, after this presentation, maybe you'll go out and buy some or order some online. It's so fun, it's so affirming, and everybody can do it. I used to be a university professor before we moved to Colorado. I worked at CU Boulder and ran the teacher education program there. And, I have really focused my entire career on productivity merged with creativity, using creativity to disrupt unfulfilling patterns. A lot of times when people are struggling, they're looking for different solutions, but they don't go back to their creativity. They don't go back to the space where they can do upper limit dreaming and really give themselves the opportunity to breathe life into something that can be as small as a mustard seed or as big as a plant that they see, and they just don't give themselves opportunities. So hopefully today, when I talk about the 4 strategies for navigating transitions, you can use your creativity to expand that for yourself, to create a space to take some of the pressure off yourself, and to really be mindful about what you want to do and going forward. And remember, we're in the woo-woo room, so this is where we can just go big and just be expansive and just, you know, really breathe life into some of the things that make us feel good and that will propel us to take the next step, or to take a calculated risk, or to just, you know what, go for it, take a big leap and just go. Okay, so we're going to talk about the discomforts of transitions, like why is it so hard for us sometimes? And then I'll just go through the 4 strategies: bold principles, shift assessment, always like an assessment because we have to collect some data about ourselves, and then some visualization techniques, and then some rituals that you can build in. And then I'll recap at the end, so that when we're doing Q&A, you know, you can build on the information that I've talked about. And of course, feel free to take a screenshot if something speaks to you. I totally encourage that. All right, so the first thing is, why do transitions uproot us? You know, what is that about? Why do we get so uncomfortable? Why are we so resistant and things like that? One of the biggest things I talk to clients about is just this whole wellness wheel. Like, everybody can look at a wellness wheel and see themselves. And this is from Yale School of Medicine. And so we have these 7 aspects that are on our wellness wheel. And anytime one of them is disrupted at 30 to 40%, we sometimes start to feel the pain, the uncertainty, the challenges of transitions. And when I talk to people about looking at this wellness wheel, we don't have to have everything in perfect balance. We just have to have it in a built-in ecosystem that serves us. So this wellness wheel is very individual, or individualized to the person who is looking at it, the person who is assessing it for themselves, the person who's really doing their own self-assessment. So when I have clients look at this, I just have them look at it and just think about themselves. And I ask them, you know, what area of your wellness needs the most attention right now? So I have that quiz set up for you all that you can do it. John's going to put it up for us. But it's just really to think about what you're going through right now, or what you've been going through for the last month, the last 3 months, the last 6 months. But really, what area in this wellness wheel do you feel like needs the most attention? And this is not something to make you feel like, oh, I should have been doing this. It's just to do a check-in. It's just to see where you are, because a lot of times we try to navigate a transition without stopping to see where we are in the transition. We just try to do all our adulting skills without really taking a step back and understanding where we are. So I think the quiz is the quiz going up?
We don't have one for this. I can do one.
Oh, that's
real
okay. That's
quick.
okay. People are throwing it in the chat. That's okay. So the question really was, you could pick any of these. Somebody said all of the above. If you would have asked me in April, I would have said all of the above, because I was in a total like, oh my gosh, my whole 2020 is wrecked. So yeah, it really depends on where we are. Okay. See those?
So people can just throw that in the chat.
Yeah,
That'd be
I
great.
can see them popping up. That's perfect. Yeah, a lot of things that I'm hearing right now from people is that they're emotional and they're spiritual are having some taxing, and then of course social. I think there was a question, environmental, just like your living space or your surroundings in your neighborhood, or if you're at work, the environmental space at work. So anything about the space where you actually dwell, environmental. Right now, I'm in Northern California. I'm feeling the environmental impact of the smoky air, so I'm not able to go out on my daily hikes like I normally do. So I've had to make a transition into how I'm taking care of my physical wellness, which is driven by the environmental wellness. So yeah, and you know, this is something that I've talked to my family about. I have an older daughter who is in New York City for college. So we're always doing this wellness check-in, and having this wellness wheel is just a really central talking communication point for all of us, so that nothing is loaded when you ask a question about how you're feeling. What do you feel on your wellness wheel? What does it look like for you? What's standing out? What feels good? What feels stressful? What are you navigating a transition around this? So a lot of times when we're trying to figure out what the transition is and how it's affecting us, it's a really good strategy is just to simply look at this wellness wheel, you know, without doing too many things. Because a lot of times if we have to do a self-assessment and there's too many steps, we're not going to do it. When I talk about the wellness wheel in different presentations, I always say anytime we are off track, off balance, in a hard transition, navigating a change, we really need to go back to a fulfilling diet. And a lot of times people have the wrong idea about diet. You think about diet as deprivation, you think about diet as starving yourself, as lack, as taking things away. And that's just not really what diet means. That's not the actual definition of a diet. A diet is about what we consume. It's about a specific regimen that we put ourselves on. And I always talk about doing a bold living diet, you know, something that's about creativity, that's robust, that's connected to your boldest and biggest dreams, that's filled with passion and love, that's nurturing. And so when we're looking at the wheel of wellness and something is off or something doesn't feel in line and you are assessing it for yourself, I said just go back and look at the bold principles. What is amiss? What do you need to, you know, give your attention to? What would make you feel better in the next 5 to 10 minutes? And it can be something as simple as getting off social media, listening to music, lying down in the darkness, putting on your diffuser and having your essential oils going, doing something creative. Because a lot of us are such high achievers, we're used to doing, we're used to executing, we're used to go, go, go. Anytime some of that is disrupted, that's where the pain of the transition comes in because we're not directly dealing with it. And we just really need a creative space to take a break and then get back to it. But we can't get back to it without understanding what has happened with us and what's happening with us in those moments. So this is where actually looking where we should do a shift and doing that assessment comes in. So here's some key questions that are directly correlated to the bold principles. Everything is in alignment. You know, we don't want to be doing too many moving parts. We need to have everything as compact as possible so we'll actually do it and take care of ourselves. So the questions are simple. What are my daily top 5 values? And sometimes those shift for people depending on a particular season, a quarter, time in their lives, and that's okay. This is your own self-assessment. You only have to make it make sense to yourself. Mm-hmm. And the other thing you want to ask, what things are currently working for me? A lot of times we want to focus on what's terrible, what's going poorly, what's not working, but we need to talk about what's working for us because sometimes we need more of that to get to the next step. And then the other part is what wellness activities will you engage in? And the wellness activities just go back to your wellness wheel. So if you know an environmental piece is off for you, you want to focus on that instead of trying to do this complete overhaul, which is exhausting. Nobody wants to do a complete overhaul in the middle of a transition. That's just not the way it works. So you want to definitely look at the wellness activity you're going to engage in that particular day, and then give yourself a week. I say 5 to 7 days. And then you want to talk about how you're actualizing the items on that particular goal list. And so, you know, I'll lay myself bare since we're really, you know, talking about mindfulness and transitions. When the pandemic first hit and my husband is actually an infectious disease scientist, and he totally told me how everything was going to go. You know, in mid-February, he was like, this is going to happen. We're probably going to have to shut down. You probably won't be traveling. You know, you're not going to get to go present at South by Southwest. You're not going to get to go on your Parisian trip with our daughter in March, like everything. And I just was like, I'm not listening. And, you know, there was a lot of transition in my thinking, things that were taken away from me, things that were stolen. You know, people say postponement. In March, I was just like, everything is wrecked. Everything has been stolen away. 2020 is over for me. And I was really, really, really upset. And so when I was able to kind of take a step back in April, because it took me that long, when I was able to take a step back in April, I really had to go back to my top values. What did I really want for myself in 2020? I wanted to upgrade my wellness, my health. I wanted to be able to continue to write this book I had been working on, focused on teenagers. I wanted to be able to do a minimum of 5 speaking engagements at a national or international level. I wanted to be able to, continue to nurture my relationship with my husband, and I wanted to be a good parent. And so I thought about these things and I had to reassess, like, even though things have been changing, even though there's this huge transition, even though there's a pandemic, even though I have to stay home, I can still be working on these values. I can still be going toward these goals. And so I started making these little mini weekly plans, because trying to do stuff at a month's planning, too much, too overwhelming, too many things to think about, too many changes that might come. So I started doing everything on a 7-day basis, short goals that were doable. And then I would connect it to different things on the wellness wheel, just because I needed to understand how, if I was feeling, not motivated in a moment, what was that about? How could I tend to that one area and take care of myself without being overwhelming? And sometimes that just meant I had to take a cocoon day where I wasn't doing much, maybe watching one of my cocoon day things, or watching a Lifetime movie, because I like to yell at the TV sometimes, and just being in the moment. And then getting back to the plan for that week, not that month, not that quarter, but just right in real time. And so once I allowed myself, starting in April, to use this shift assessment on a weekly basis, everything changed for me. I got back to work, my coaching. Yeah, cocoon days. Steal that. Absolutely. We all need to have cocoon days. It's like my favorite thing to do. Once I got back to this really clear plan within this transition, within all this pivoting that's every day or every week or every month, my creativity was boosted, my openness to the changes and being able to respond thoughtfully, healthfully, positively shifted. And everything that I had initially planned for 2020 started happening, but in a different way. And no, I didn't go on this big, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to work with my head down. I'm just going to, dedicate all these hours. Very gentle, this transition, very gentle, this shift, very nurturing, very slow, very steady. And, we want to focus on our progress over perfection. And I know for a lot of us, when we were moved in a different direction, or things felt like they were being derailed, it was difficult. And I always like to talk about that, because if I'm going to talk about productivity and using creativity to disrupt unfulfilling patterns, I have to lay it bare. So that's the second strategy, doing the shift assessment. The third strategy for navigating the transition is doing some visualization. And this is just my happy space of doing things. And so what I like to have people do is take this wellness wheel and draw it out for themselves and color code it. You can use the colors that are already there. You can do your own colors, because it's your wellness wheel, but you definitely want to keep the 7 elements, the physical, social, intellectual, etc. Keep those elements, but you can change up the colors. I like to use washi tape for all my different elements, because it's just fun, it's different, it's creative. And then you want to make these connections in your day-to-day life. And hopefully this is something you'll do during today or during the entire summit, because I know you'll be having a lot of learning that will inform your wellness wheel. And it'll just be a really great way for you to have key takeaways in your fun space, in your creative space, and to have a visual that will keep you motivated after the presentation and after you see the ebook, which I'm so excited about. But I use this wellness wheel to create my daily task list. I have these little checkbox there so that I can see all the different things that I have going on. How much is in the spiritual, how much is in occupational, how much is in intellectual. Like if I talk about today, I have today's presentation, I have this the rest of the summit, and then I have a different presentation that I'm going to do. So I'm a lot in my occupational space today. I'm a lot in the intellectual space today, and I'm a lot in the social and spiritual, because I am talking about mindfulness right here with you all. In my other presentation, we're talking about wellness, and it's a little bit environmental too. So, looking at those are good spots for me. Those feel good. Those feel nurturing. They feel doable. And so the Bitly isn't working. It is, Amy, it's a case specific. So, like the creativity has to be a capital C or whatever. So that's probably why it's not working. So it's really important to not get too busy and disrupt your balance for your wellness wheel. And as Amy was talking about the Creativity Manifesto, I like to send this out to clients as a reminder for them to put up. And this is something you can download. This is something you can have on your mobile device or whatnot. But it's just a call to action for your creativity. It's a call to action for you to go back. Oh, yay, Amy. Woo! Thanks for your patience. It's a call to action to make sure you have your proper alignment. It's a call to action to have a cocoon day. Whatever you need to be, it talks about using your creativity to help you move to your next step on your own terms, with your own progress, and with your wellness at the center of it all. So I think it's really fun. I'm pretty proud of it. Excuse me, just because I think a lot of us as high achievers, a lot of us as go-getters, just don't take enough time to pause, you know? And if you see it on your wall, if you see it on your phone, if you see it on your screensaver, you'll see that you will pause just because it's just there and it's just a constant reminder. And so that's why I am, oh, thanks, Kim. This is why I'm such a big proponent of visualization. On my wall, some of you can see, but I took a picture of it just in my office, and this is where I'm sitting now, but this is on my wall right here. And this is my visualization for when I'm doing my work. And then you will see those 5x7 note cards. I have some here. It's just a 5x7 note card. Everything's white. Can you see that? And so what those are my visual reminders when I have different projects going on. I will do a visual on one side, and then on the back side, I will have my wellness wheel. And then I will check the different areas that I'm going with. So like the one with the croissants on it, that was just about reminding me to take a break after this particular week because I have 4 presentations. So, you know, after that, you know, it's a reminder that I'm going to go to this really nice patisserie that I really like and enjoy something as a little reward for myself. The how bold are you? That's just reminding me of the principles that I want to teach people. The tea is a reminder to have tea while I'm presenting. I have tea right here, so I'm good with that. And then the gratitude attitude, that's just really helping boost my mood. And then the other one with the, I have to look at it over here because I don't have my glasses on. The one with the pool is just when I'm able to go back outside to take breaks in the middle of the day to use our pool. So how often do I update my wall? It really, really depends. And the other piece too is that I have other little visuals underneath it. So I move and arrange them differently. And I have some specific ones that I did in preparation for today's presentations to, you know, motivate me, to calm my nerves, to keep me excited and things like that. So I have a picture of those. These are the ones that I did specifically in preparation for this presentation. And some people are really creative with drawing. Some people like to paint. Some people like to do a thing. I love magazines. I love to do clippings. I love collaging. So this is how I do my visualization. But this is such a space where you could just go crazy with different things. Some of us have these hidden talents that we're not utilizing fully. So if you're a painter, you might want to do your visualization around painter. If you do something with textiles, you could do a visualization around that. Really, there is, you know, there are no limits to what you can create, but this is fun. This is easy. This gets me off my mobile device. This gets me, you know, sitting in the family room, doing these different things to make me feel happy and to be relaxed. And somebody said they wanted to see my real wall. Like, this is an actual picture of the real wall. This is what it looks like. So, you know, showing everything. Yeah. And so these 3, I just actually put over a couple of those things. And I just did that this morning. So, yeah. And yes.
Kanesha, there was one more question that somebody wanted to know how often you update your wall.
Yeah, so I typically update it at least once a month, and I'm doing a lot more updating right now because I'm in a lot more transition. So, and I just have the time to do it, and I also don't want to get into a space where I'm trying to overdo things. So it definitely, you know, I have an overactive mind. I'm an overachiever. I'm an overscheduler. I'm an overplanner because I know those things about myself, because I know, to go back to the bold principles, I always put it, yes, Karen, hello, friend. This is why I put different things in there to slow me down, because I know my transition triggers, so to speak. You know, I know what things that going too many tabs open. Oh, guilty of that too. And especially since I teach productivity strategies, I'm constantly calling myself out. And having this strategy, having these tools really helps me with my productivity and helps me show other people how to be productive, but not in this really, you know, tense and controlled way. You know, let our creativity help solve this problem for us. Let our creativity give us different tools and different strategies to handle things. And I saw a comment there. Somebody says, "I love donuts." Yes, I love donuts. I'm actually donuts are my thing. Somebody sent me, a friend sent me donuts a couple of weeks ago when I had a big presentation, and I had told her I was super nervous. So she had donuts delivered, and everything went great. And I had the donuts sitting here. It was fantastic.
Tanya's showing us her donut box.
Oh, I love it! Yay! Oh, brava! I know I'm with the right people. This is so awesome. I'm so excited.
Somebody sent it to my daughter, but it's a great like activity or thing to send to people for an event. You decorate, they sent like 6 donuts, 6 donut holes, and then frosting. And it says it's good for like a long time, which kind of scares me, but we haven't eaten any yet, but it's just a cool thing.
Oh,
I'll
Kim
put it in
says show
chat.
it again. Tanya, Kim says show the donuts again.
It's called the Donut Club.
I need to be on that
And
club.
it's from Sendoza. I don't even, Sendoso.
I'm totally Googling that.
They ship swag, and this is one of the swag, like, fun things to do.
Oh
I'll
my God.
put it in chat. My daughter's yelling at me because she got it.
Oh, well, tell your daughter thank you. She is changing lives with this. Oh, that's so exciting. I love it. I love it. Yes. I might send that to clients. Good idea. Okay. The fourth strategy for navigating transitions is to create different rituals for yourself. And this is definitely something I'm currently obsessed with. I did a presentation for parent education and back in June, you know, how to deal with your teens and all of that. And really, I focused it with parents on how to create rituals to calm themselves down so then they can actually be present for their kids. Because a lot of times we think some of these other things are other people's issues, but they're really ours. So the different elements, if you're going to create a wellness ritual for yourself, and it can be based on any of the 7 things that you're trying to balance for yourself. Thank you, Tanya. Anything that you're trying to balance for yourself, you need a warm up, a creative expression, some type of nourishment, you know, physical. It could be something that goes internally, a focus plan or execute,
How about a kitten?
a check-in. And then if you have another thing to execute, you might want to add that, and then some type of unwinding and transition marker. And so let me give you an example of what that could look like. So creativity rituals, as an example, this is not one and done. This is just using all the elements, and you can mix things out that fit your lifestyle, that fit your wellness. There we go. One thing that is really fun about this creativity ritual, which is what I use, these are the different markers that I hit on my wellness wheel. You know, I'm really sensitive to the way things smell and how that, you know, evokes different emotions. So it's super important to me. I have my diffuser going over there. I have citrus and spearmint in it right now. Citrus is very calming. The spearmint is very invigorating for me. So I thought that would be appropriate for this morning. Writing acrostic poems. I'm super obsessed with that. Like picking a word that I love, a word like bold, a word like transition, a word like create, and create your own acrostic style poem for that. Watching documentaries, my jam, not my family's jam. So that means I get quiet time to cocoon because they're not going to watch with me. Going on nature walks. Word of the day. Oh yeah, acrostic poem about conversations. That would be perfect for today. I love that. I love to make collages, as you know. I like to get different natural artifacts that that I might see on a walk that are already on the ground. There's a great Instagram account called Face the Foliage. I think that's right. If you just put in the search thing, and it has all these people creating these different collages out of natural artifacts. So fun. I love to look at that. And then meditation. So this is one example of how I created a creativity ritual based on these different elements of making a ritual. Painting. Oh, I love that. Painting rocks are the places you go. Beautiful, beautiful. Another ritual that I help my clients put together, because they're always trying to get things done, of course, is a productivity ritual. And usually people say, productivity ritual, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m., I'm going to shut off everything, I'm going to lock myself in my office and get everything done. Absolutely not. That is not the way to do a productivity ritual. You need something that's going to invigorate you and help you focus by taking care of as many aspects of your wellness wheel as possible. So, definitely some good nourishment to start, some great exercise in your home, outside, it doesn't have to be long. And then I always say, let's curate, not create, not make, but let's do, a to-do list. I love the Pomodoro method technique. That is the best one. I love that. I love to work in bursts. When I use the Pomodoro technique for myself, I like to do the 25-minute sprints, and then I take my 5-minute or 2 to 5 minute break and hula hoop. I have a weighted hula hoop. I love that. That's my best thing to do. Definitely do. Oh, I put that on there. I forgot I wrote that. Definitely taking enough breaks so that you have a moment to let your brain pause, but not too much time where you get distracted. So creating these rituals is just really a space for you to, when you're feeling underwhelmed, overwhelmed, not motivated, like you have too much to do. If you know you can just do one cycle of your productivity ritual based on creativity, based on, the bold principle, based on your shift assessment, you'll be good to go. So those are just some examples. So just to recap, we talked about the bold principles, we talked about the shift assessment, doing visualizations and rituals. I'm not sure if the third quiz was up, but the question I was going to ask was, what would be your focus as far as your transitions, as far as your wellness wheel? What will be your focus in the next 7 days? Will it be the self-assessment? Will it be exploring visualization? Will it be creating some type of pop-up sanctuary? Would it be journaling, or would it be rituals? Because people see this and like, I'm going to try all these things. And I'm like, just pick one to try for the next 7 days. Self-assessment, visualization, pop-up sanctuary, journaling, rituals. Just try one and see how it goes, and then build from there. Because I know we want to do it all, but we really have to take care of ourselves and make sure we're not getting off of what we plan for ourselves on the wellness wheel. So yeah, I'm happy to take any questions or comments or donuts.
We have about 5 minutes left, and there was one question that came up here about, could you explain more about how you curate your to-do list?
Yes. So depending on what type of visualization person you are, I always encourage people to write their to-do list by categories. Instead of just doing this one long list of things, do it by categories. It's something for work, family, yourself, your me time, a project, and then write what you have to do for each section so that your eyes will see different categories. I'm a huge proponent of using an Eisenhower matrix, where you have the different quadrants: important, not important, urgent, not urgent, and then writing the information in those boxes, but no more than 5 items in each box. So when I say curated, it's really, instead of just having this long laundry list, being thoughtful of where things go and the time you have, and if you need to move it to the next week, the next month, the next quarter, whatever the case may be. Oh, you're so welcome, Karen. How do you get your video into your slide?
You have to share screen real quick. I'll just do share
Oh.
screen, advanced, and then PowerPoint as backdrop.
Thank you, John, because I was like, I'm not sure. Of course, of course. Oh, yay. I'm so glad, Tanya. Yay. I'm so glad you.
Any other questions? We still have a few minutes left and happy to keep chatting.
How do we follow you? Like, what's your Instagram?
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks for asking. I'm at Kanesha Baynard, my first and last name, on Twitter and Instagram. And then on Facebook, Kanesha Baynard Coaching. And I have some resources for you all, so take a screenshot of this, or I think John can put them in the chat. But there's a bold mindset assessment that's there, and it's free. You can go to it and put your information in. You have full access to it. And then I have a planner's tool quiz, because people always ask about curating your to-do list. And so you just take the quiz, and it tells you what types of planning tools would be best for your planning style. It's also free. And then if people want to continue the conversation, because I know people have to go to different sessions, but you could set up a virtual coffee chat with me, and we can discuss productivity, creativity, transitions, and things like that. And my website is boldlivingtoday.com, so you can find me there.
Will you be in the Perk area, Central Perks today, or no?
I plan to be there in the next hour. Yes.
What was your website again?
It's boldlivingtoday.com.
Thank you.
Of course.
And all of the
John.
links are in the chat.
Oh,
Thank you so
fantastic.
much. Yay.
Thanks,
Sorry,
John.
I didn't, I can
Oh,
put
that's
them in there
okay.
better.
If you all make any collages, will you just send it to me? I'd love to see what people make, big, small. It just really excites me, and, lets me know that people are taking care of themselves during a transition, during day-to-day life, having a cocoon moment, whichever.
Yes, so that is the end of the session. Thank you all. And you can go to Central Perk. If you do leave this meeting, you will go back to Kiko, and that is where you'll see all the other sessions, as well as the Central Perk on the left-hand side, and you can attend another session or continue to talk with Kanesha in Central Perk. Thanks everybody for attending.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Have fun with it.
Thank you.